The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 2. Chapter 8. Errol, you're running. Your clothes are soaked through with the biting cold water. You can barely breathe. Your throat is parched. You taste the salty sweat mixed with the iron of your blood. You know you're leaving a trail behind, and any competent dog could track your scent. Your left eye stings. Your shoes squelch with every step. As the sun sets, you can see your heaving breaths. Ark, clinging onto you by the wrist, is stumbling and gasping for air. Ahead are looming storm clouds. Everyone is desperately staggering along. Dura is dragging along a limping woman by the arm, and Elder Lasha is riding on Mock's direwolf. You haven't dared look back ever since the soldiers started marching toward the river. As soon as the stream began to bend west, you all gathered by the shore, clawing and dragging and heaving your weary bodies out as the rapids pulled you down and finally collapsing onto the grasses. Never have you felt so helpless against the forces of nature, but there was no time to rest, because you soon began to hear the galloping of horses. "Everlight, save us," you prayed, over and over under your breath as soon as you emerged from the waters. You're not sure at what point you began to say, "High Priestess Vavena," instead. The sun finally recedes below the horizon. A cold gust hits your face. The woman being carried by Dura collapses to the ground. And, as if on cue, you feel Ark drop down to his knees as well, along with several others. Everyone is coughing and weeping. You catch your breath, propping yourself over your knees. The fallen woman is holding her chest and dry heaving. You reach for your water skin, and you approach her as humbly as you can. You lean over, tapping her shoulder. "Here," you say, "some water." You pull the cap off for her. She recoils and slaps your hand away, knocking the water skin to the ground. She screams at you. You! She points her finger at you and proceeds to yell in Orcish. Dura places a hand on the woman's shoulder and whispers softly. The woman shakes her head vehemently, still pointing at you. Her hands are badly scarred with familiar web-like patterns. The veins bulge and almost seem to pulse. You open your mouth to speak, but your voice is caught by your hoarse throat. Dura sighs. "She says you send elves to us." "No," you say. We were trying to help you." "I know," says Dura. The other orcs, however, are staring at you now, murmuring amongst themselves, with some of them glaring at you, weapons in hand. Dura raises an arm to them and speaks softly in Orcish. Ark struggles to his feet and stumbles to you. "Dura," he says, reaching out a hand. "We never would have sent them to come after us." A man shouts something, pointing at you. Dura reels back, now appearing more conflicted. "Maybe they follow you," she asks. You and Ark glance at each other, and you both shake your heads. "We were careful," says Ark. "We made sure no one followed us." "Then how?" she says. You turn to the fake furbolgs. They're hunched over on the ground, still catching their breaths. Bayron and Bach are holding Bella protectively while she leans into Bach's chest. All of them are avoiding eye contact with you. We truly don't know," says Ark. You gaze at your friend, who was the first to confirm the truth about Bella. Why isn't he saying anything? Now is the time. "You lie!" someone shouts, pointing at Ark. "You kill us!" You stare at Bayron, who lifts his head up and meets your eyes. For all you know, they're currently leading the soldiers this way. You scan the horizon, It's getting too dark for you to see. Thunder begins to rumble. "We truly wouldn't," says Ark. "Brother Tie-Dye's dead. He put his life on the line for this. He has no loyalty to New Everlon." The woman beside you screams again. With what little energy she has left, she lunges for your throat. You duck, but she manages to grab your hair instead. "Eri!" She's incredibly strong. She slams your head to the ground, and your vision goes. She's heavy. She straddles you, and she begins striking you across the face multiple times, and you cover yourself protectively. "Olur!" shouts Dura. Footsteps shuffle through the grasses. The woman's body is suddenly lifted off you. Whoa, 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 whoa! Stop, stop! You feel a boot land next to your ear. Ark's arms wrap around your shoulders, one hand cradling your head. You open your eyes. Your vision blurs in a mix of reds and blacks and yellows. The back of your head aches. You first see the faint outline of Bayron's frame standing right above you, arms raised up defensively. You see a crackle of lightning in the clouds above you. "Let's not jump to conclusions here," says Bayron, his voice deceptively calm. You blink, trying to reset your vision. You barely make out the woman being held back by several others. "Eri, you all right?" You notice Bach bearing an almost remorseful expression. Bella is still wrapped in Ark's cloak, peeking out with one shy eye. "Eri?" The woman is screeching, trying to shake everyone off her. Hot tears are rolling down her face. Her left leg is bleeding profusely through her pants. Bayron glances at you for a moment. He nods once, and you hear his voice in your head now. "Our agreement still holds," he says. "We can get you out of here. We can go." It takes you a moment to process what he just said. He doesn't know you know. "Go?" you respond. "The forest isn't far, right? If they don't want you here, you might as well leave. We'll come with you." He's looking away from you, and he whispers again to the woman, whose voice is drowning out everyone else's. You push yourself up to your feet. Your legs wobble, but Ark stabilizes you. After everything Bayron's put them through, he wants to run? What are you to him? Some ticket to get into the forest? What if his ultimate goal has always been to sneak in as a spy? Your suspicion and simmering anger begin to boil over, and all at once you understand the woman's wrath. "Bayron, right?" you telegraph. "Yeah." "Will you explain to me why you're an elf, pretending to be a furbolg?" He fully turns to you. His eyes express an instant of shock before he tries to suppress it. "What are you talking about?" You peer at Ark for a moment, who immediately seems to figure out what's going on. He shakes his head at you, but you're certain. There's no doubt. You glare at Bayron. You point at Bella, and you shout at the top of your lungs, "Why is your sister an elf?" Everyone goes silent. Bayron's eyes widen, and he opens his mouth, but no words come out. He twists around to face Bella, who immediately ducks behind Bach. "Eri," whispers Ark. The woman falls limp, and the other orcs release her. Everyone's gaze turns to Bella now. Dura steps towards Bayron, narrowing her eyes. "This true?" You push yourself away from Ark. "I saw it. She was disguising herself as a furbolg by wearing a magical hat, but after the soldiers attacked, the disguise came off." Bayron looks dumbfounded. "I truly don't know what you're talking about." Dura gazes into his eyes. Her nostrils flare, and you see her reach for her spear. Bayron takes a step back. "Please, let's be civil about this. We're all acting irrationally." His eyes dart back and forth between you, Dura, and Bella. He looks at you with genuine devastation. "Bella!" shouts Dura. Bella flinches. Out! Now! You see the girl shaking uncontrollably. Slowly, she steps away from Bach, who puts an arm in front of her protectively. Bayron takes another step back, and Dura grabs him by the collar. In one deft motion, she pulls him in, gripping his jaw and exposing his neck. She points her spear at his throat. Bayron puts his hands up, breathing erratically through his teeth. Show your face, Dura shouts at Bella. Both Bella and Bach are completely paralyzed. Tears are welling in both of their eyes. Bayron whimpers something, almost like a prayer. Then he cries, Run! Just go! Dura covers his mouth, clasping her hands around his jaw even tighter. Bella, still trembling, steps forward. She pulls Ark's cloak off her body, and then she reaches up to her head, removing an invisible hat. The furbolg disguise slips off her shoulders, revealing the undeniably elven features. Everyone gasps. All of a sudden, Bayron's clothing shifts and whirls around him, covering his face. Dura instinctively lets go and backs away, as do several other orcs. As it settles, you see, unequivocally, the features of an elven man. Long face, high cheekbones, pointed ears. He keeps his arms up, defensively, retreating while blocking Bella from everyone's view. All at once, the orcs are in an uproar, raising their weapons and leaping to their feet. They jeer and egg on Dura. Please, Bayron whispers. He touches Dura's wrist. Everyone's voices are rising. There's hollering and the throwing of stones. Listen, Bayron shouts. It's not what you think. If you'll just let me explain, I'll tell you everything, but please let the other two go. He points to Bach and Bella. You can do whatever you want with me. It was all my idea. Just don't bring them into this. They're just kids. But no one is listening. One of the men holding the woman back charges at Bayron. Ark slips away from you. Everything moves quickly in a blur, and you hear the clash of metal. The next thing you see, Dura's spear has pierced Ark's shield, chipping off a bit of the gold plating. He stands protectively in front of Bayron, eyes focused. The man falls backward onto the ground. Dura snarls at Ark. You with them? No, I'm not. But we should at least hear him out. Mok rushes to Dura. He stands next to Ark, arms raised. Dura's eyes widen, and she curses at Mok in Orcish. He yells back. The orcs gasp again. Dura appears completely bewildered. You know? She says in Sylvan. We haven't been lying to you, says Bayron. Bella and I are not the same elves as the ones in New Everlon. We're wood elves. We're from the forest. We were kidnapped. Everything we said was true. The only thing we lied about was that we're furbolgs, but we did that out of convenience, not malice. He points at Bach. He's a real furbolg. We decided it was easier to travel under the guise of a family. That's all. Bella is sobbing hysterically. Choppy winds continue to roll through the grasses. The air has turned muggy as the blackening clouds roll in. Wood elves? You say. Yes, wood elves, says Bayron, from the northeastern region of the INA. You glance at Ark for any hints, but he's still concentrating on Dura. You've never heard of wood elves before, though you admittedly know very little about the northeastern region. What about your badges? You say. That's the only way you can prove yourselves. Bayron turns to you, eyes furious. We were kidnapped! There's desperation in his voice. You think we'd have our fucking badges? Listen to us! We're speaking Sylvan! No one from New Everlon can speak fluent Sylvan! Your conviction is crumbling. You thought you were so certain a moment ago. Bayron points at Bella, eyes fixed on you. Look at her! You look my sister in the eye, and you tell me she's responsible for this. She's 12 years old. Bach is 17. They're both children. I'm fucking 19. Look at my wounds. He rolls up his sleeves and pulls on his collar, exposing his burns. They tried to burn us alive, just like they did you. Do you really think they give a shit about who we are? Do you think they know who we are? You have no answer. Ark has also shifted his attention to you. The disappointment on his face is palpable. The Everlight's teaching, how quickly you forget it in a moment of chaos. You're supposed to see past your own emotions. Instead, you lost your temper, and you allowed your judgment to be clouded. You were so ready to push the blame off you. Bella is 12. She couldn't have done this. Baron's eyes expressed terror, his body in a fully defensive pose. You know nothing. You are nothing. What would High Priestess Vavina think of you now? Dura's eyes are still full of fury. She tightens her grip around her spear. Mok shouts something at her again, and she snaps back at him, making him immediately go silent. His face contorts with anguish. All of the orcs are shouting now, some at each other, some at Dura, some at Mok, and some at Baron. Bach holds Bella tight in his arms, one hand on the hilt of his sword. Baron nudges Ark to the side, and he steps forward past the shield. He grips the tip of Dura's spear and pulls it to his chest. He leans into it. You want to kill me? Go ahead. I don't fucking care. If it lets you sleep better at night, do it. The spear digs into his chest. Blood begins to spread and stain his clothing. He gazes into Dura's eyes, unblinking, like he's daring her. But like I said, we didn't lie to you about the things that matter. If you want to get into that forest, he points at the trees far to the east, then we will still help you get there. It's as simple as that. You hear some of the orcs egging Dura on, but she's frozen. Her eyes are darting all around, completely unsure of herself now. The woman who attacked you has collapsed into a heap on the ground, hands covering her ears as she bawls. The man who charged at Baron is glaring at him, still ready to fight if it comes to it. That's enough. Everyone turns to the sound of the voice. A few step to the side, and you watch as Elder Lasha limps toward Dura. Someone rushes up and tries to steady her, but she waves him away in refusal. Dura straightens her back. Her fingers loosen around the spear. A drop of rain splatters onto you, and then another, and another. Elder Lasha pushes herself in front of Baron, shoving Dura aside. She touches his chin and examines his face from different angles. She does not break eye contact. Then she steps away. Bella, child, she says, come. She extends her hand. It's beginning to rain steadily now. Cold, heavy splatters of water. Bach still has his arms around her, unsure. Bella wipes away her tears and snot, huffing and puffing. She pats Bach's arms, and he slowly loosens his hold. She hangs her head and shuffles up to Elder Lasha. Child, Elder Lasha coos. She leans down and caresses Bella's face. Did you think I was unaware? Baron's eyes widen. My eyes are old, but they can still see. To this, Bella lets out another wail as she runs into Elder Lasha's arms. The old woman cradles Bella's head and combs through her matted hair. Elder Lasha peers at Baron. I am no fool. Still hugging Bella, she turns to the rest of the group. I am tired. We have witnessed more murders than any person should in our lifetimes. I will not tolerate the killing of children. Anyone who disobeys me will face Grumsh's wrath in the afterlife. She throws Dura a disappointed glare, sighing and shaking her head. Dura bows and backs away. Elder Lasha turns to Mok. How long did you know, child? Ah, says Mok, When we met the traders. You realize he's referring to you, Ark, and Brother Taira, and you remember that you were never blameless in what happened to the orcs by proxy. Who gave you the authority to keep this from the others? Is it simply your instinct to disregard your own kind? Mock's mouth goes slack. But you just... I wasn't trying... Lightning crackles directly above you, followed closely by the concussive boom of thunder. Elder Lasha turns, letting go of Bella. There is no time. We must keep going, or risk the elves finding us again. We must find rest soon, before the storm comes in. She ushers everyone to move along, and the orcs begin shifting away. Their eyes are still fixed on the elves. Some of them are still seething. Baron pulls Bella in, kissing her on the forehead. Bach rushes up and hugs the two of them as well. She apologizes over and over, while Baron and Bach keep reassuring her. The rain shifts to a heavy downpour. Airy, says Ark, stepping up to you. You avert your eyes. A chill runs up your spine, and you realize the last sliver of connection to the Everlight has left. I'm sorry, you say. Splatters of heavy rain drown out your voice. He rests a hand on your shoulder, lightly ushering you to move along. His fingers are cold. He does not speak.